Exciting morning to you here, live from our studio in Lagos, Nigeria. A special welcome to Ways Breakfast, hashtag what are you saying? I love starting off my day with you, our valued viewers. From your insightful contributions to comments and engagements, you make coming here every day something I look forward to. It's the month of love and the week of Valentine's, actually. So here's me saying, I love you very, very much. On this show, we give you the best conversations that shape our future, from politics to governance, everything health. We discuss technology, finance, and of course, trending issues are not left out. Representing you here on this chair is I, Okikiola Taiwo Jalukmo, your anchor for today. And I'm always blessed to share this table with my Odogoresses, God's Beauty Israel and Oluchi Precious Umenka. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I started off this morning trying to appreciating our audiences, our viewers. And I just feel like it's a long-awaited thing. It's almost like we're always sending them subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And the people who have subscribed are still here with us. We love you. The fact that it's the week of Valentine's, I want us to be shouting love, love, love,
Thank
love,
you for always tuning in. Literally, it's the best. It means a lot to us. It means that we're speaking to people who are listening to us. Yeah. So, thumbs up.
So how did your weekend go?
My weekend went well. I told you last week on Friday that it was going to be full of church activities, and that's what happened. I praised my Master Jesus. I thanked him, and I'm starting the week on high energy and optimism, even though the newspaper this morning is already trying to shake me, but I'm going to stand on,
what
good
about you,
ground.
God's
On the
Beauty?
solid rock.
On the solid rock, you got it. Nigeria has got nothing on me.
Nigeria has everything on you, man.
No, they've got nothing. Do you know the Lord that I serve?
What's the Lord?
The Lord that
don't
you
know.
serve sent you here to Nigeria.
Because he has made a way out of a dry land. So you just watch out.
You're saying
and see.
Nigeria
With God,
is a
all
dry
things are
land.
possible.
I'll come back to you, but I want to hear God's Beauty's weekend. How did it go?
My weekend was amazing, right? I mean, I did a lot of resting, a lot of procrastination, actually. I'm so sorry,
Really?
guys. Yeah, because...
You don't strike me as such.
No, I'm actually not a procrastinator. But I feel like during the weekend, I actually needed
It was an
rest.
intentional thing.
Yeah, I needed a rest. I feel like I've been working too much. And given that, you know how my body was, last week, my health and all of that. So that rest, was something that I needed. And yeah, I did rest.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Madam, how about you?
I chop. I tell you, I say I go
Oh,
chop.
that's true. I mean, look at your cheek.
I chop, guys. I chop like there was no tomorrow. And I was so happy. When I woke up this morning and I realized that I'm hungry again.
Wow.
And you know when you overeat over the weekend, your body starts to tell you something that probably you should continue like that. That is
part
weight.
of January fasting. You're always
What's
talking
that?
about chopping. From
Did you
January,
fast?
people have been fasting.
It was my
Preparing
birthday
their
month.
year.
I know that the God that I serve will know that he wants me
Understand.
to. For the fact that he gave birth to me, like he made sure I entered this planet Earth of Nigeria, 1st of January. Do you think it's easy? It's not easy.
It's not.
Yes,
It's not.
exactly. So I
That's
needed
fine.
to prepare, and then Valentine's, there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
So it's telling me that, enjoyment is necessary, love. And I can love through, shopping, Anyways, if you are tuning in for the first time, this is how we do it on Ways Breakfast. You are the cold pure water in this conversation, so make sure that you always come on here to talk to us. Our Mondays are usually about Nigeria and its future, so you should stick around. Our phone lines are open. As always, please call us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, first timers, our YouTube channel's name is @Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button now, like and share the link. Tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV and do not miss this. As you know, today in history is our own way of increasing your wealth of knowledge. So we'll go on a break right now and we'll return with the top stories making headlines across the globe. Stay with us.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. Technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back. Now let us take a look at what's making headlines today from the Punch and the New York Times. We'll go straight to the New York Times as always. Godspeed.
All right, straight into the international newspaper, New York Times newspaper. So made headlines by the top left column. We have there, in wilderness, party searches for a way out. Democrats reevaluate politics of diversity. And in a nutshell, what that is literally talking about is the Democrats are at a crossroad trying to decide whether they should change their approach to win more elections without betraying their core values. And honestly speaking, I mean, given what, the outcome is, and I mean, the fact that we have Trump as the United States president, it just shows that, the Americans, they were more concerned about a leader that would direct them to, where they are going to, which is, who is going to, help us with the economy, right? Ensure that the economy grows better and all of that. They didn't need a president that will come and be, agreeing with all the things that they have. And, I mean, that's the only reason why, even with the whole, the LGBTQ and how it was growing, the community and how it was growing, I was actually thinking that, Kamala will definitely win this one because of, the amount of people that are actually in agreement with her policy as at that time. But it just shows, I mean, at the end of the day, it shows that people are more concerned about who will bring food on the table. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's why people were more into, Trump policies and all of these things. And now the Democrats are just at the crossroad. They're thinking, okay, you know what? How do we ensure now that in the next election we are like on seat and not like the Trump or the Republicans? So they are just thinking deeply. And honestly, what I would say is they should be more concerned about what the Americans want than for them to just agree with whatever that they see is going. Do you get what I'm saying? Because now that we have Trump in power, you see now that he's more of, two genders, male or female, and that's it, male and female rather, and that's it. And he's not concerned about transgender male, transgender female, and all of that. And I feel like that's something that, the Democrats were more concerned about. So, I mean, giving future heads up now, I think they should just be more concerned about what will actually, take the growth of America far than, just setting policies that not everybody's even in agreement with.
But I think that policies are generally not 100% approved or accepted by the general population.
Of course.
So there's going to be, that's why there's elections, because everybody has their own favorites, and then their favorites eventually win. Well, that is not like the basis of every election.
Yeah.
That's what they put at the forefront, that you like me enough, please vote for me. And then when he won, he said he did it for Americans. Americans are happy.
That's why you should ensure that as a politician, you should be able to, I mean, just look at the market, know what to sell, and you know that these people would buy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, it's just like, you know, I mean, for me to just be quick now, it's just like for one that is entering into like the social media platform, for example. You cannot sell if you don't understand what the market is. There will be competition. There will be competition. You will have competitors, of course. But what makes you to strive is when you understand the market and you not flow in it. And I feel like that's something Trump did. But you know, the Democrats, they were more concerned about, oh, there's already this policy, or yeah, let's support. Instead of them looking at what exactly
the next 4 years,
Americans
to be honest,
want.
It might also be a strategy. Anything can happen in the next 4 years.
True.
Right. Away from the United States of America, there are more pressing things in this country. Trust me. The major headline reads 70,000 minimum wage, 70,000 naira minimum wage. State salaries rise by 90% to 3.8 trillion naira. 27 states depend on federal allocation to pay salaries, planned 6.25 trillion naira IGR. Above that, we see Obasanjo's comment. He says, no leader can be effective without stepping on toes. And then freed Thai nationals held captive in Gaza return home. Drug couriers excrete 125 heroin wraps at Lagos Port Harcourt Airport. Rivers community deserted as cultists kill 19 residents. And the last story here reads Kwankwaso wooing Aregbesola to get Southwest vote. All right, the one that is really pressing now would be this minimum wage thing, because you can also link it to the hot topic that we have today. We're talking about state creation, and we're seeing here that the minimum wage that was approved has not been effective in some states, which is quite alarming, because the number of states that are even still able to, you know, from their own revenue, still able to do something reasonable is very minimal. It's showing that there are many states that are still very underdeveloped and are not able to handle things themselves. So they are still depending on federal allocations to solve or meet these things. And it's quite appalling. Let's see how the hot topic will go, because we really need to discuss a lot of states' issues in our country.
Well, this morning, we'll be talking about the proposal to create new states in Nigeria, and that has been a topic for debate for many, many years. We'll be taking your questions and comments live on our social media platforms, so be sure to join the conversation. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Today we're talking redrawing the map, the pros and cons of creating 31 new states. This is something that has had people buzzing. And the proposal to create new states in Nigeria has been a topic of debate for many years. Proponents argue that it will lead to more effective governance, economic development, and representation for marginalized communities. On the other hand, critics argue that it will lead to increased costs, ethnic tensions, and administrative complexities. As we explore the pros and cons of creating 31 new states, we'll examine the potential benefits and drawbacks of this proposal. We'll discuss the implications for Nigeria's politics, economy, and society, and consider the perspectives of various stakeholders. Joining us to dissect this topic is two amazing guests, namely Segun Shopiton, who is a public affairs analyst and a friend of the house. And also we have Jide Johnson, who is also a public affairs analyst. They're both here to share their insights and guide us through this conversation. Welcome, Segun and Jide. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Glad to have you here. So let's go straight into this conversation. My initial thoughts are that the proposal is a complex issue that requires careful consideration. Like, while it may address some of the country's developmental challenges like misrepresentation and all of that, it also raises concerns about the potential costs, administrative complexities, and even ethnic tensions. For me, the proposal is totally dependent on how it is being implemented and managed. So it brings me to ask, what was your initial thoughts when you heard or when you read that they were proposing 31 new states in Nigeria? And do you think that this is a step in the right direction? I would like Mr. Jide to start.
Well, it doesn't. The proposal didn't come to me as a surprise, because the present political class are much more interested in creating empires for themselves rather than looking at ways in which they can bring about development. So every assembly has thought of doing the constitutional review since 1999. I've thought about state creation. And so when this president assembly came up with 31 states, was not surprising. Was not surprising to me concerning their desire to have 31 states. As far as I'm concerned, those that are behind these things are looking at themselves beyond the national assembly and seeing themselves as the governor of the respective state they intend to create. We already have 36 state structure plus federal capital territory, which makes it 37.
Yes.
Or this 37 state structure itself cannot afford to take care of their basic needs of taking care of their citizens without coming to Abuja every month for FAC allocation. Now you are thinking of creating 31 additional states, making it 67. Even United States of America, that was established 249 years ago, still has 50 states. At the inception, it was just 13. The state of Texas is bigger than Nigeria. Not to talk of thus splitting some states. Look at it, splitting Lagos State, Lagos and Lagoon.
Lagoon State.
Splitting Benue State into three. You have Benue State. Benue State is made up of, I think, 4 major ethnic groups, two principally and 2 subnational, the TVs and the Domas, the Gedes and what have you. They are all in Benue South. So in Benue South, are you going to create 2 additional states? It's just jamboree. I think that the National Assembly wants to allocate money for this particular purpose, and their staff and those that are involved will go throughout the nation, doing committee hearing and the rest of it, engaging in one jamboree or the other. Just like the jamboree we have with constitution.
Okay, I would like Mr. Shegun to please also give us his opinion about his initial thoughts when he read or heard about the 31 states creation by the National Assembly.
Well, you know, I mean, it's like my brother said, it didn't come as a surprise per se, you know, but because everybody that follows the political structure of the country and society and how things run in our society, you will know what exactly is going on. So my initial reaction was just to laugh it up. Say, these people have come again. But I think that maybe just for the purpose of conversation, just for, you know, to ensure that one is not entirely dismissive of an idea of the concept. After all, some would argue that what the committee said, the Constitution Review Committee of the House of Representatives, that revealed this information, what they said was that they received proposals, you know, and their representatives, you know, this is the House of Representatives. They have constituents, and their job in the National Assembly is to project the wishes, the desires, and the interests of their constituents. So some would argue that maybe this is what Nigeria wants. Maybe this is what Nigeria needs. Maybe the economic foolishness of the idea, because it's economically ridiculous, but maybe the economic foolishness of the idea can be put on the back seat. And you look at the social, the demographic complexities, the social complexities of Nigeria, and what creating this state may do to deal with those complexities. Maybe, you know, creating additional states in Ogun State, in Ekiti State, Ondo State, or wherever else, you know, we're planning to add new states. Maybe to take away certain local tensions in those places. And don't forget that these tensions are largely political. So maybe the politicians that stir up the waters, that create problems, that create controversies, deliberately in most instances, to further their own political agenda, their political ambition, and their political interest, maybe those types of agitations may go away if they now get their wishes and they're able to jostle for power in more places than what we currently have. So having 36 states means you have only 36 state governments. It means you have only 36 state houses of assembly, only 36 deputy governors and commissioners and all of that. If having 67 means that you will need more people. So maybe the tensions that don't forget that the tensions that we experience as a country, whether they be religious or ethnic or regional or political, driven by politicians. The average Nigerian, the average man on the street don't care about these things. They don't care. My best friends are Muslim, I'm a Christian. Some of my best friends, childhood friends, we grew up together, we're roommates in university, roommates in secondary school, they're Muslims. Some of my best friends, not Yoruba, So maybe those tensions that these politicians play up deliberately, that Nigerians don't really care about, maybe those tensions will go away because politicians will stop playing them. And therefore you will say, this might very well not be such a bad idea if we can find a way to fix the economic implications, So I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate. I mean, the idea makes absolutely no sense from the economic point of view, from the practical, even implementation point of view. How do you want to run the referendum? How do we trust that the referendum is true, reflects the wishes of the people, and all of that? But I think it's important to also look at the flip side of the coin and just talk about what's driving the thinking behind it. And if they say they've received proposals from Nigerians, I guess we have to believe them. We can't assume that they just cooked up these ideas and came up with those states. They definitely must have gotten proposals from people. So what are those people after? Can they get it? Is it good to get it? Is it good for this thing to go ahead? There are better ways of addressing those issues, So I won't want to throw the entire thing away. My first instinct is just laugh it and ridicule it. But I know that sometimes even a bad clock, will tell the correct time twice a day. And wisdom sometimes comes from the mouth of a crazy person just walking the streets of Lagos. So maybe there is something to look at, and maybe there is questions to ask about why this is happening and what we can do to either fix those reasons, or how can we go about actually implementing this and ensuring that it actually does work and deliver its objectives.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Segun. I'd like to direct this question to you. I know you must have mentioned it in different fragments while you were speaking, but it's a follow-up of the papers that we read this morning for the Punch. We've seen that there are a lot of economic implications with the 36 states that we have already, and it's alarming that just 9 out of the 36 states can fully, fund some of the bills that they ought to with the revenue that they generate. And then we're now seeing that the creation of 67 states is imminent. I want to ask you, in your opinion, because you are playing the devil's advocate, as you said, so you are looking at this very objectively and seeing how that Nigerians can actually be the ones even instigating this. Do you think that the economic pressures that we have for most states, we are seeing local government autonomy, a lot of things are happening in 36 states that are already existing. With these pressures that are happening, if this 67 state becomes active in that sense, how do you view economic implications for it? What's your foresight on that?
Look, if I wanted to look at the positive angle to this, I would say, wait, why not? If we can make this work, what it should mean is that the country has opened up access to more opportunities. And I'm not talking about political opportunities, I'm talking about unlocking the inherent potential that exists across the length and breadth of this country. You can pick up every single one of these 36 states, and each one of them has its comparative advantage that is absolutely lying dormant, that is absolutely not being, looked at, and nothing is being done about. Is it tourism you want to go into? Is it solid minerals? Our solid mineral deposit alone can do triple of what we're doing with oil and gas in this country today, right? So, you know, if I was going to play devil's advocate, please, I'm playing devil's advocate before somebody comes after me.
It's fine.
I would say, if we carve out these additional states, maybe it would enable us focus more critically in each of those states at the opportunities that lie therein. For example, if we say as a condition to the creation of those states that the proponents, right, the people that are moving these ideas, will come up with a template, an idea, a proposal that will address economic viability. How will you generate revenues? How much revenues would you generate within a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year period? What would you do with it? What will be your development indicators, your human development index and your economic indices, you know, over a 10, 15, 20-year period? If this was a country where things are done normally, logically, and properly, methodically, then we can have conversations along those lines, demanding this information from the proposers of these ideas, insisting that for these things to pass, each one of you must come forward with a paper with clear implementable strategies and ideas that will result in the viability of your state. And that where you are unable to do that, then that proposal dies a natural death. You know, so you could look at it from that angle and say, maybe there can be some positives from this. Maybe out of the 31, maybe only 10 comes back and present a proposal to the National Assembly that they present to Nigerians. Maybe Nigerians see some of those proposals and they go up in excitement and say, wow, this is amazing. This can work. We support this. You know, so there is always a good way to look at some of these things sometimes. But I know this won't happen. I'm just talking idealistically, you know. So if it were possible to go in this direction, then it would not be such a terrible idea. If you can train that 31 states to 5 or 10, to 5 or 6, maybe even 10 then, you know, why not? If it helps us increase the revenue of the country, increase our GDP, you know, and it's not that we're taking the already inadequate revenues, that were so inadequate that we had to remove subsidies and penalize Nigerians for that. We will now take that and split it amongst even more people. You know, if that's not what is happening, we're saying no, we will use this to grow the cake. We would actually increase our GDP by this action alone. We'll double our GDP in 5 years. And, you know, maybe we can talk about it. But if we are unable to do that, then it's a waste of time.
All right, thank you so much. I'd like to hear Mr. Jide's thoughts on this as well. With the current economic dependence that we have for over 20 states in Nigeria already, what's your foresight in case this is implemented? Because we've seen with some things done so far in Nigeria with the present administration, some things come out, we think that they are back and forth, but before we know it, it's actually going to be implemented. So it's almost looking like this might be implemented. What do you think are the economic implications based on what we're already seeing from the 36 states?
It is dead on arrival. You do not see the light of it. The complexity concerning state creation, the processes it will go through, the constitutional processes it will go through, is so complex that I don't see the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly. Let's look at local government autonomy. The Ninth Assembly came up with local government autonomy, and it was passed by the House of Reps, passed by the Senate, and then it requires 2/3 of the State House of Assembly to pass. Now you just require 24. They got 21. They didn't get 24. You wouldn't believe that states in the Southwest were the states that killed local government autonomy. Those that were in the forefront of local government autonomy today, that were for each day before yesterday, killed it yesterday. So now to talk about state creation, for me, it's dead on arrival. It can't look this. There's no way it can contribute to economic growth. Rather, it puts pressure on the scarce resources which we have, because look at the number of governors you are going to do. Look at the number of, now that means that we are going to, the National Assembly will increase. You have 3 senators per each state, 3 senators type 67 states. Now, as of rep members, 67 speakers, 67 governors. Look, we are saying that the cost of governance should be reduced. This will increase the cost of governance. And then, besides, would it bring about more division? For example, you create a state like Ijebu State. Now, within the Ijebu, you have the Remos and the Koi Ijebu. Even within Ijebu, you have the Ijebu Waterside and the mainland Ijebu. So the more states you create, the more problem you create. Now in that Ogun State, now that means that you take the Remo people and the Ijebu to Ijebu State, you take the Yewa people and the Egbas to, it's just a matter of time. The Yewa people will make a demand for their own state. It's just a matter of time. The Remo people will make a demand for their own state. As far as I'm concerned, this is just a constitutional review jamboree to create, is my opinion, my brother, to create an avenue for people to traverse the length and breadth of this country, say that they are doing committee here, and to justify the reason why they are spending the money on that. There's no way it's going to contribute. It's going to contribute to economic growth. You said it. Only 9 states out of 36 states will stand on their feet. Now you now want to create 67 states. They will be overtly dependent on the federal government. What we should do actually is to create more local government. Local government is the government that is closest to the people. Is the grassroots government. Is to look at ways to create local government and ensure that the elections into the local government are conducted nationally, and they are conducted on the same day. They are conducted by an independent, but as bad as INEC is, quote unquote, INEC is far better than state independent electoral commission. So these are the things we should be looking at. Okay, the imbalances in local. Which area can we create local government so as to give some national to be part and parcel of government, and then the government that is closest to the people, which is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The true representation of democracy is local government, not state government. So for me, what the National Assembly should look at it, okay, can we create more local government in Lagos? Can we create more local governments all across Nigeria, whereby some people have been left out of governance? And then we assuage their ability. They elect their local government chairman, they elect their councillor, and the people from their community are the ones governing, and they get their direct allocation from the federal government. And that we assuage some feeling, other than saying that we want to create. Some of those House of Rep members and some of these senators, they are hiding the seat of the government. You know, most executive in Nigeria and in almost all the world in democratic, what we have succeeded in doing with democracy is that we have been placed monarchy, we have been placed kings and queens with elected king and queen. Because modern day executive, they act like emperor. You don't call them His Excellency, you call them His Imperial Majesty. The power of modern day executive, the power of government, the power of president is almost bigger than that of even a king or a vassal.
Thank you very much, sir. So we'll go on a quick break right now. When we return, we'll dive deeper into this conversation because it's a must-have. Please stay with us, our viewers. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. So I'll allow God's Beauty take our question right now. I think she has been anxious to ask Mr. Shegun and Mr. Jide.
So thank you so much. I'll start from what Mr. Jide said. Thank you so much, Mr. Jide, and Mr. Shegun as well for your contribution so far. So, Mr. Jide, I hear you when you say that this proposal would not, will not see the light of the day and all of that. Honestly speaking, to some extent, I feel like we can actually see that because given the whole, illustrations and all of that, if we have 67 states now, how do we even pay them? Because a country like Nigeria where we are still collecting loan, if states are still collecting loan for development and all of these things, how do we end up paying them? But now I want to ask, because, in situations where at the end of the day it happens, because we are not the National Assembly, two-thirds majority, that's what is just needed for this bill to become law and all of those things for it to be implemented, right? So what do you think are those things that you think the country should, take note of? The National Assembly, like I said, we are not there. We are not part of the representative. We are not the committee. So it's one person, because the fact that this proposal was even thought about in the first place is actually even what is making me angry. Because tell me why of all the problems we have in the country, and the only solution you can bring so far is saying we need to create more states. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like to some extent, this might, be, put into law and all of that. So what do you think, what are those implementation that you think we should start, the government should start putting out for, in order for, like I said earlier, given that the country itself, we have not paid the 36 states and the 36 governors and deputy and all of those people that we already have. Imagine we now increasing to 67. So what are those financial things that you think the government should, start implementing in order for them to be able to balance it?
Do we
Mr.
have
Jide, are you with us?
Jide or Mr. Shegun here with us? Mr. Jide or Mr. Shegun, do we have you here with us?
No, we're here.
I am with you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
we
can.
So God's Beauty's question was
Yeah.
directed to Mr. Jide, and then if Mr. Shegun
Yeah.
has maybe a submission to, we'll take it right after Mr. Jide's comment.
Well, the government, we are the government. The tenets of democracy says that the power belongs to the people. It says that sovereignty lies with the people. As far as the ones that in Abuja are our elected representatives, that's just the reality. They are our elected representatives. It is what we want. I was part and parcel of your program when you reviewed the New York Times and where you passed the comment concerning what's the way forward for the Democratic Party. Are they going to shape their party to meet the needs of what Americans want, or they are going to shape it based on their own core value, which is the ideology behind their party? It tells you that the ultimate sovereignty in democracy lies with the people. You see, as far as those ones in Abuja are concerned, they wouldn't mind creating those fiefdom for themselves. They wouldn't mind creating those empires for themselves. It is you and I that can stop them. And that's the beauty of the conversation we are having now. Getting the people educated, getting them enlightened, getting them informed, engaging in social mobilization and advocacy, saying that this is not what we want now. What we want is for government to solve the myriad economic problem we have. Inflation is almost 35%. The cost of goods and services are on the high. We are not even getting electricity. We are not getting values from the deliverables of democracy, the basic amenities that we need for life. We are not getting it. We don't have good roads. You can't travel from Lagos to any other part of Nigeria. You don't come back and spend money on your car. So basically, we are asking government to take care of that, not for them to create state that cannot even survive. So it's you and I that can stop. As far as they are concerned, they can railroad themselves. They can because in the first instance, majority of them were they actually elected by the people. In Nigeria, it is not the votes of the people that determine who is eventually sworn. It is what the court. That's why you have more litigation concerning election in Nigeria than any other part in the world. So we don't have what is called democracy. What we have is idiocracy. It is the court pronouncement that determines whoever is sworn in at the end. At the end of the day. So sometimes their allegiance might not be to us. Their allegiance might be to themselves. And as far as they are concerned, they might want to railroad this, but I don't see them railroading this because the complexity is so much. And if you have a series of programs like your own programs that we're having, there's social advocacy, there's mass mobilization, there's an enlightenment, and the people are empowered to make a demand for what is good for them.
Nice one. Thank you so much, Mr. Jide. So I would want to ask this question to Mr. Shegun because, when Mr. Jide was speaking earlier, he made mention of the fact that instead of us building state, it's the local government that we should be more concerned about. So I would want to ask, so apart from building up more local government across the country, right, what other things do you think should be implemented in order for the country to get better? Because we are always, we have so many issues. Is it the health sector that is not, that is failing? Is it insecurity? There's just a bunch of it, right? So what do you think we should start putting in place? Now, he has made mention of local government, which does make sense to me, right? And all of that. So what other implementation do you think should happen in Nigeria?
Well, look, you widen the conversation almost to the point where we can talk for the entire day and not be done.
Right.
What's the problem that we have as a country is self-evident. We don't have governance. I would even say we have bad governance. We just simply don't have governance. The people that you have in public offices, whether elected or appointed, are there for interests other than why they are supposed to be there. Sometimes those interests are personal. Sometimes it's vested in maybe a group of people, but it's never about the Nigerian ordinary man, the average man on the street. It's never about Nigeria and what Nigeria can be. You know, so we are lacking in basic tenets of governance as a country. We have a citizenry, let me start from there. So if you say, what's our problem, what can we do? We've got citizens that just simply, they've disconnected. They're not here. So it's their bodies are here, their spirit and soul are elsewhere. Some people are already in the US, some people are already in Canada, some are in Ghana, some are in South Africa. In spirit and soul, no, their bodies are here. They can't afford to leave, but they've checked out. They are not connected to the governance process. They are not connected or involved in the things that they ought to and need to be involved in order for the country to work. They're just simply not interested. The average Nigerian youth, from ages, let's say 15 to 40, they are engaging themselves in other things, trying to make something out of their lives. They are doing exploits, they are being innovative, they are being creative, but they are not concerning themselves with governance matters. And I tell you that there is no society anywhere in the world that is running smoothly that we like today, whether it's the United States or the United Kingdom or EU, or go to the Asia, or even, you see, even in places where there are monarchies. If you go into how those societies are run, you discover that the citizens are carried along and they have a powerful voice, right? The people that are running those countries are afraid of the people that they govern because they know that their power derives from those people, even in monarchies. Because if you're a monarchy and your people rise up in protest against you, you'll be deposed, right? So, but in Nigeria, we don't care anymore. We've disconnected. So we need to fix that. We need to find a way to get Nigerians to become re-engaged in the governance process, to become interested, to ask questions, to demand accountability from government, whatever cost. That's one. Then we need to look at the issue of institutions, so local government, the governance structure, the tiers of government, how can we make them work better? How can we get the local governments to actually function? As they stand today, I have a friend who is very close to some of the local government people, and they will always tell you that the local governments are a sham. They don't exist. They're just there in name. But in reality, they are just appendages of the state government. They get enough money, just enough money to pay the stipends that they pay to their workers. And that's just about it. And that's why you find that roads that are, the structure of road network in Nigeria is that some roads are local government roads, trunk C roads, then you have trunk B roads that are supposed to be under the control and management of the state government, and then you have the trunk A roads that are the federal roads. Those local government roads, go and check across this country. Very, very few places are those roads. You would have where those roads have been tarred or developed in any way. Those roads are terrible. Why? Because the money that is supposed to go into fixing those infrastructure things at the local government level gets stuck at the state. The governor, to use local parlance, colobbies it, and that's the end of it, right? So we need to fix the governance structure, make sure that our local governments are actually working by ensuring we actually elect people there and that those people are accountable to their electorate and not to the governor. That's one. We need to fix the states themselves. The states are not viable. We're talking of creating more states. When, like you said already, maybe I don't even think we have 9 states that are viable. I don't agree with that statistic. I think if you take Lagos State out of the equation, no other state in this country is viable. If you really look at what viability means, where it's not just about paying your bills, it's about being able to deliver the dividends of democracy, the governance structure, the infrastructure required that will drive economic activity. California, for God's sake, is a state, one single state in the United States. Their GDP is multiple times that of Nigeria, the entire country. Their GDP is several times, combined 10 African countries, their GDP is bigger than that. In fact, I think California is like the 5th largest economy in the world. You can check it, just fact check me, go on Google. California has one of the largest economies in the world. It's just one state. So here we are talking about states. Only Lagos State is viable, in my opinion, in this country. Not even Rivers, not even Delta, with all of their oil money, because the money gets stolen, right? And that's not to say that money is not getting stolen in Lagos, but it's to say that because of the comparative advantage that Lagos has, that there is a lot of opportunity for, revenue generation here, right? So We have to talk about local government structure, how to make local governments work. We have to talk about how to make the state governments work because they're not working. We have to talk about how to make the federal government work and deliver on its mandate because that, unfortunately, is also not working. Nothing, in truth, is working as it should in Nigeria. So until we deal with those more fundamental existential issues, we can't be talking about creating new states. It's a travesty, it's a joke. I think those people should be gathered and flogged with all due respect to them. I know some of them are old people. They should be flogged for misrepresenting the people. Even if people gather memoranda, send it to you and say, we want more states in Ogun, say, we want more states in Benue, we want more states in, even in northern states, they are clamoring for more states. You should immediately reject those proposals, or you take them and say, we have heard, and then kill it, throw it in the dustbin, and find a way to just justify why people don't look at it and end the story there. Don't come and ridicule yourself, in the national conversation and say you want to create an additional 31 states. Are we for real? We're not a serious country. Otherwise, these types of things. You see, our public servants and especially our elected, so-called elected officials, they are not afraid of us. If they were, they won't bring this proposal forward. They would know that there will be outcry, there will be uproar, and some of them will get recalled if this was the country where things actually work. But as my brother said, we even have elections. We need to even start by even fixing our elections so that the people that are in public office know that they're accountable to their electorate and they will be afraid of doing things that will get them kicked out. But where the elections are manipulated so brazenly that even the court cannot fix it, then you know you have a problem on your hands. So for me, those are the conversations that the National Assembly needs to be having if we want to be serious as a country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Segun. This has been very insightful. I want to pick on something that you mentioned before, but I'm going to direct this question to Mr. Jide. I mean, if you go back in history, around 1987, 1991, when we had more state creation from General Babangida, it was to really, alleviate the tension, the political and ethnic tension that we had. And then you mentioned that politicians are the ones that are actually instigating, that you feel that politicians instigate some of the ethnic tensions that we have. Even though I beg to differ, because when you check social media handles and pages, it's not politicians that really have those handles, and you see different Nigerians see instigating ethnic tensions here and there. So I want to ask Mr. Jide, do you think, for any chance at all, that these 67 states could actually help with the marginalization that we have? Because we know that it has not been sorted very, solidly. I mean, behind the scene, we're talking about, Okiki was mentioning how the Idoma, some of them are misrepresented. So do you think that even if this happened, is there like a silver lining where marginalization can, work better from the 67 states? Mr. Jide.
Now, you took the Igalas from the old Benue state, you match them with the Ibira, and you open people to form Kogi state. Now, the Igalas and the TVs were having tension in the old Benue state. Today, the Igalas and the Ibiras are having tension in Kogi state. There's no way you create those states that will not create some of schism. It is natural. One of the things that the political class appeals to, politics is like marketing. One of you said, politics is like marketing. It's marketing of ideas, and the best idea that gets the highest number of buyers, which literally means voter, is the one that wins the election and controls the state resources. So, just like in marketing, most human consumer decisions are based on emotion. Other than, all just need is to study Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's very, very clear. And in politics, it's the fault lines that people, the political class will always appeal to the fault line. It's not part of us, it's not one of us, it's the enemy of the state. You don't need to trust them. So and which area would they look at? They will look at religion, they will look at ethnicity, and then if the ethnicity is the same, they will go on tribal line. Now, let me use tribal line along Ogun State for you now. There are 4, if not even 5, major tribes in Ogun State. You have the Jebu, you have the Redrawing people, you have the Egba, you have the Yewa people, those that call themselves, and then you have the Egbados, which are the Arori, that the Laru people have removed themselves. So if you are talking about who is going to become the governor of Ogun State, when they are doing campaign, they appeal to those fault lines. Now, if you divide the state, they begin to break it down the more. I'm from Lagos State. I'm a Lagosian. There's a distinction between the mainland Lagos and the island Lagos. It's apparent. All you need to do is to go to allow. Ask anybody working in the civil service. Those fault lines are apparent in your career progression, whether you progress or whether you be posted to some sense. That is even a state that is cosmopolitan, that is sophisticated, that the eyes of the world is on. You wouldn't believe what is happening within the Lagos civil service and within the Lagos political structure. Now, that is Lagos, contemporary Lagos. Now, to talk about other states outside of Lagos, when you begin to go to Benin, when you go to Kogi, when you go to all of these things are what the political class, the fourth line is what they are appealing, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Look, I'll conclude with this. In the family of Isaac, there was a contest on who takes over the estate of the family. Is it Esau or is it Jacob? By birthright, it's Esau that was entitled to. But the mother connived with Jacob to deny the brother his birthright. The mother was Inez. In that instance, he gave Jacob sensitive information. So she gave Jacob sensitive information on how to win the election. She was not independent in that matter. And that's how Jacob took the inheritance that belonged to Esau from his brother. So if that could happen within even a family,
a nuclear family for that matter.
Just imagine.
This has been such like an insightful conversation, and it's more people should be aware of what is going on rather than, I always call people who go on Twitter to talk Twitter fingers, because most of the time it's just talk, marginalization, tribal issues, bigotry, everything put together always happens on social media. But they don't always know that it goes beyond what you tweet on social media. There has to be actionable, differences between what happens on social media and what should happen in our system. So thank you very much, Mr. Shegun and Mr. Jide, for coming here this morning to educate not just us, but even our audiences of the implications, the pros and cons of these 31 new states, if it was ever to be implemented in Nigeria. Thank you to my co-anchors too. You people make this table a beautiful one as always. And our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have another conversation you should look out for tomorrow. Bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?